Welcome to Politics for Patriots. Here's your host, the eviscerator of progressive nonsense, the executioner of imbecility, and the grim reaper of BS, Eddie Zipper.
On Monday, Jeff Flake used the 15 seconds of fame that he lucked into by being the least Republican on the Senate Judiciary Committee to make a speech in New Hampshire about the wonder that is Jeff. I mean, this guy is wildly impressed with his own virtue, and he just lives for these moments where the Democrats and the Mug Whomps are cheering him for his anti-Trumpism. He spends a lot of time in the swamp, so apparently he has not yet figured out that the Mug Whomps make up about 5 to 8% of all the Republicans in the country. They used to be more. I can tell you, I live in a red area, a pretty small town in Georgia, and during the 2016 election, I talked to a lot of Mug Whomps. Everyone who sees me talks to me about politics. I mean, people at church talk to me about politics. People at work talk to me about politics. All of my friends talk to me about politics. When I see my neighbors around, they talk to me about politics. I mean, that's what happens to you when you are a political science professor. Everybody wants to talk to you about politics. So during the 2016 election, there were lots and lots of Mug Whomps. We were up to here with Mug Whomps. And they were telling me how much they did not like or trust Donald Trump. They did not want him to win. Okay? And they would ask me, is there any chance? Is there any way that Trump is going to lose the primary? You know, they were all worried. I don't like this Donald Trump at all. And then after he got the nomination, the same group would come complaining about Donald Trump getting the nomination. Well, we're done. Republicans aren't going to win anything because they chose President Trump to be the party's nominee. Okay, that was almost 2 years ago. Jump cut to now. I know all the same people, but now I only know one Mug Whomp. The rest of them have all decided that they are pleasantly surprised, and they've hopped on the bandwagon. They had no idea President Trump was going to be able to accomplish all these things. They like him now. I know one guy who is a Republican who still hates Trump. He's always talking about Bill Kristol. Every time he comes up and starts talking to me, he talks to me about Bill Kristol. I guess he follows him on Twitter, and he always wants to tell me about Bill Kristol's Twitter and the things that he's tweeting. I stand there and I nod along because I'm a nice person, and that's how I am. I'm not going to be a jerk. But the whole time, I'm always, in my head, I'm like this.
Why are you the way that you are? I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
Look at the polls. Not the top line of the polls that gets reported in the media, but the crosstabs. Republicans are mostly on the same page. The Mug Whomps now are a very, very tiny, small group of people. By the way, I prefer the term Mug Whomp to Never Trump. Right? You know, the Never Trump. Other people call them the Never Trumpers. I call them the Mug Whomps. All right, Mug Whomp is what they called the Republicans who ditched Blaine for Grover Cleveland in the election of 1884. I like Mug Whomp because the epithet is meant to imply that the people are sanctimonious, holier-than-thou types. And, I mean, I cannot think of anyone in the history of America, nay, in the history of the universe, more sanctimonious than Never-Trumpers like Jeff Flake. So to me, they are the Mug Whomps. Also, I just think Mug Whomp is a fun word to say, so I get to say it over and over. So it works on both of those levels. All right, so Jeff Flake is treating his 15 minutes of fame like silly putty. He's trying to stretch it out as far as he can. So in his speech in New Hampshire, he's telling us all of his high-minded ideas about how to make the Republican Party better. You know, ideas that have worked out so great for Jeff Flake's career. I mean, he's got, oh, I know how to make us popular. Oh, you do you? I mean, okay, so here's what he said. Here's his great idea. He says Republicans need to broaden their appeal. Jeff Flake thinks the Republican Party needs to broaden its appeal. What does that mean? What in the hell is Jeff Flake talking about? The last Morning Consult poll that measured approval of senators in their state, Jeff Flake was at 30% approval. Out of 100 senators, he was tied for 100th in approval. Dude, you are a Republican in a red state. Claire McCaskill, Heidi Heitkamp. Democrats in red states are more popular in their states than Jeff Flake can manage to be in Arizona. You're a Republican in a red state, and you are tied for least popular senator. Why? Why, Jeff Flake? Why are you giving anyone advice on broadening their appeal? Let me give you a quick measure of Jeff Flake's appeal. Not the 30% approval, even though that's a pretty good measure. Okay, if Jeff Flake were an ice cream flavor, based on his appeal, do you know what flavor he would be? Pepto-Bismol. That is what flavor of ice cream Jeff Flake would be. That is how appealing he is. He is as appealing as Pepto-Bismol flavored ice cream. So why, Jeff Flake, why, oh why, are you giving anyone advice on how to broaden their appeal? That is like Beto O'Rourke teaching driver's ed. It's like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez quitting politics to become a financial planner. How would you like to hand over your hard-earned money for her to manage?
Capitalism has not always existed in the world, and it will not always exist in the world.
Yeah, thanks, but no thanks. I'm going to take a hard pass on that one. What world do these people live in where the Republican Party needs to broaden its appeal? Republicans currently hold both houses of Congress, the White House, 33 governorships, and 31 state legislatures. Trump won the last presidential election by 77 electoral votes. He won Rust Belt states that Republicans haven't won in a generation. Trump won Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. Last time a Republican did that, Wake Me Up Before You Go Go by Wham! Was on its way to the top of the Billboard charts, and every teenager in America had a Frankie Say Relax t-shirt. What does Flake think is broadening the appeal of the Republican Party? What does he think that means? What does he think would achieve that? The broadening of the appeal of the Republican Party. I'm just curious, given his own approval ratings in his own state. Does he think that Republicans should be more like John McCain? Because I'm thinking back to 2008. McCain didn't win Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. No. He didn't even win North Carolina. Last time a Republican lost North Carolina, nobody had ever heard of Frankie Say Relax or Wham! Okay, last time a Republican lost North Carolina before John McCain, All in the Family was still on TV.
The country is going straight into the dumper.
All right, so that hasn't happened in a minute. And John McCain certainly did not broaden the appeal of the Republican Party. So, who is this magical broadener of Republican appeal that Jeff Flake has in mind? Is it Mitt Romney? Because he got smoked. Romney lost in the 2012 election worse than Hillary Clinton lost in 2016. Romney lost by what? It was like 116 electoral votes. That's not broad appeal. Yet here we sit today with Republicans controlling the House, the Senate, and the White House, 33 governorships, 31 state legislatures. Party appeal doesn't get much broader than that, Jeff. All right, this is the problem with Mug Whomps. They think that surrendering to whatever nonsensical whim the Democrats are melting down over at any given moment broadens appeal. He thinks pretending that the New York Times, the Washington Post, and CNN are the truth givers broadens appeal. He thinks that winning is unseemly and bad manners, and that surrender is virtuous and shows what a great person you are. Oh, look at him. He's willing to just give up. He's willing to just lose. What a stand-up guy he is. Jeff Flake should look at his own approval in his home state. He is tied for the lowest approval rating in the Senate, yet here he is on my television acting like I'm kind of a big deal. You know that whole spiel from Anchorman? I'm kind of a big deal. People know me. My apartment smells of leather-bound books and mahogany. Hey, so Jeff Flake, John Kasich, Mitt Romney, these mugwumps think that surrendering to Democrats on every issue is what Republicans want. They need to take a lesson from General Patton. Remember that big speech in the opening scene of the movie Patton? You remember what he says?
Americans love a winner and will not tolerate a loser. Americans play to win all the time. I wouldn't give a hoot in hell for a man who lost and laughed.
Yes! Yes! That is what broadens appeal. Winning! Trump says we will all be tired of winning, but he knows that that is not true. He knows that nobody ever gets tired of winning. We have to win these fights. Leftist ideas are not popular. Okay, 30-something% of the country believes in all that. Abolish ICE, Medicare for everyone, higher taxes. Only 30-something% of the country believes in all that nonsense, and most of them are complaining about evil Republicans from their parents' basement, okay? Democrats in the media push these steaming piles of narrative that women hate the Republican Party. Oh, Republicans are alienating women because they don't automatically believe accusations from 36 years ago. Oh, Republicans alienate Hispanic Americans by wanting to control the border. These narratives are not true. Democrats in the media simply have no idea what goes on inside the heads of Hispanic Americans or women or whatever identity group that they're speaking for. Okay, they speak for people that they don't really speak for at all. These identity groups and what the Democrats and the media say about them, that's all fake. They create stereotypes that aren't accurate and pretend that they are, and morons like Jeff Flake buy into that. Okay? The media will tell you that women, oh my God, all they care about is abortion. Like, if you're a woman, you just have Roe v. Wade on your mind all the time. It's the only thing that you can possibly care about. And so, if everybody doesn't get down and on their knees and worship Roe v. Wade, the Republicans will never win anything ever again. Hispanic Americans, all they care about is an open border with Mexico. That's all they care about, is an open border with Mexico. They don't think about any of the other issues in American life. All they think about is, oh, that border has to be open. These are not true. That is not what women are like or what Hispanic Americans are like. They're just like regular Americans. That's what they are. They're just Americans. And they care about all the same things that the rest of America cares about. And they have differing ideas just like the rest of America. Okay, they are not just one issue automatons who must do the bidding of the Democratic Party at all costs. Allow me to prove my point on this. And I think that what I'm about to share with you is going to blow your mind. Because I'm going to prove to you that these narratives that Democrats and the media come up with, they are not true. Okay? All right, so there's a brand new Harvard-Harris poll that just came out, and wait until you hear what is in it. Let's test some of those Democratic narratives about Brett Kavanaugh. Because I guarantee you what you're about to hear on this show, you will never hear on CNN. You will never hear this on MSNBC. This is the stuff that they will do anything to hide from you. They don't want you to know this. All right, so if you listen to the MSM or Democrats at all, you've no doubt heard 1,000 times in the last couple weeks that Republicans are alienating women. Women are going to blue wave the Republicans because of Brett Kavanaugh. Oh, women are all of one mind and they're so angry about this Brett Kavanaugh thing. They want you to just believe accusers. That's what women want, according to the Democrats and the mainstream media. Okay, so let's look at some Harvard-Harris crosstabs. Are you ready to see how ridiculous these narratives are? Here we go. Suppose I'm quoting from the poll now. This is the question they asked. Suppose the accounts from Brett Kavanaugh's youth are mostly true, but they are from 35 years ago when he was a teenager and no other such incidents exist. Should his nomination proceed or should he withdraw from his nomination? 51%, a majority, say the nomination should proceed. And 49% say he should withdraw. Can you believe it? The majority says even if he did it, the nomination should go through because it was so long ago when he was a teenager and no other such incidents exist. Even, I'm going to be honest with you, even I would not have answered the question like that. I would have said if it's true, then he should withdraw. And I'm pretty conservative. So a majority of Americans here are saying something that's more conservative than I would be. All right? And make no mistake, this is a Democrat +5 poll, by the way. I always use this poll because I'm an expert on public opinion polling, and I believe Harvard-Harris is the best of the polls. Okay, it's a scientific probability poll. Lots of companies don't use probability polling anymore, even though it's better and better measures public opinion. They don't do it because it's expensive. But Harvard-Harris still does it. Also, they go deep into policy, which most pollsters do not. So we're looking at a majority say that even if Brett Kavanaugh actually did it, even if they're mostly true, because they're from 35 years ago and he was a teenager, we should just say, nah, who cares? All right? A majority say that. And it must be all men, right? It's going to, if I look at the crosstabs, what I'm going to see, if I believe the mainstream media, is that like 90% of men are saying this and like 20% of women, and it evens out to 51%. So let's look at the crosstab. Men, 51%. Women, 51%. Literally, there is absolutely no divide at all between what men and women think on these questions. Zero. The only divide is ideological. It is not gender-based. All right, next question. If Kavanaugh's two accusers say they were sexually harassed by Kavanaugh when he was in high school and college, but they can't offer any evidence to corroborate the claims, and Kavanaugh says these incidents did not happen, should Kavanaugh's nomination proceed, or should he withdraw his nomination? 61% say proceed. That's a huge majority. 63% of men say proceed, 59% of women. Yeah, women are clearly on a mission to blue wave the Republicans. 59%. So a huge majority of women believe that you need evidence if you are going to destroy people. And let me tell you, just so you know, I never thought that they wouldn't. I do not believe this nonsense that women are just little Roe v. Wade monsters walking around. That's all they think about is how much they love. Oh, you have to believe. I don't believe that women believe that. I believe women hold American values in the same percentages as men hold American values. You know, maybe it's not sexist to need evidence before destroying a man's life. Maybe what's actually sexist is the idea that American values like the presumption of innocence are just too much for women to handle. Because that's what the Democrats think. Women can't handle it. You just have to believe. No, women want evidence in the same numbers that men want evidence. All right. One accuser says that Kavanaugh flashed her at a party in college, but the New York Times interviewed scores of people and could not find anyone who supported her claims with any first-hand knowledge. Given this, should her account be deemed true or discounted as probably not accurate? Let's see. Probably not accurate. 64%. 64% say it's probably not accurate. It should be discounted as probably not accurate. 64%, that's a gigantic majority. It's huge. That's a super majority. All right? Among men, 65%. Among women, 62%. The women believe the same things that men believe in the same numbers. This idea that there's this huge divide is such a myth. Democrats are on a mission to create unicorns. Right? These myths are not true, but they want to make them true. They want to create the unicorn. All right, next. If Kavanaugh's two accusers say they were sexually harassed by Kavanaugh when he was in high school and college, but they cannot offer any evidence to corroborate the claims, and Kavanaugh says these incidents did not happen, should Kavanaugh's nomination proceed, or should he withdraw his nomination? 61% say proceed with the nomination. 63% of men, 59% of women. No divide. All right, and I could keep going through these questions. In your view, are the accusations towards Brett Kavanaugh valid and they should be investigated by the FBI? Or are they a politically motivated campaign aimed at preventing his nomination to the U.S. Supreme Court? This one's good, okay? 50% say this is a politically motivated campaign. 49% of men. 51% of women. A higher percentage of women think that this is a politically motivated campaign than men. 51 to 49. Women see this as a politically motivated campaign against Brett Kavanaugh in bigger numbers than men do. So you see there's no divide in this poll between men and women. That is a completely fake, phony narrative. The Democratic Party is so ridiculously dishonest. They're so desperate to stoke hatred for men that they fill up the airwaves with all this war on women nonsense, but they are not fooling anyone. It's right here in the polls. The divide is ideological. It is not at all gender-based. This is a propaganda campaign designed to drive a wedge between men and women. That's how Democrats operate. Drive a wedge between this identity group and that one. But they're generic identity groups. That's why the left hates conservative women. That's why the left hates black conservatives. That's why they want to destroy conservative women and black conservatives. It makes it so hard for them to wage their identity wars when some people refuse to play along. They're like, well, Republicans hate women. And then we go, oh, but what about all these smart, awesome women who are conservatives? What about Molly Hemingway and Allie Beth Stuckey? What about Nikki Haley over here? Right? What about all these smart women who are conservatives? Why are they waging a war against themselves? And it's confusing, and it causes people to question the narrative, so you have to destroy those women. Right? They say, well, Republicans, are racist. Oh, really? Why do we love Tim Scott and Ben Carson and Mia Love and Clarence Thomas? Those people have to be destroyed by the Democrats because they are so inconvenient to the narrative. All right, so this Brett Kavanaugh 3 Mile Island meltdown that the Democrats are engaged in is just another attempt at wedge politics. But it is about the most desperate one I have ever seen. The Democratic Party is malfunctioning. They became drunk on powers. They rode President Obama's popularity. They mistook it for their own popularity, which it clearly is not. When Trump won the 2016 election, it just absolutely broke the Democrats. And instead of realizing that they are the ones who need to broaden their appeal, they decided they needed to move harder left. That's the party that needs to broaden their appeal. All those hardcore leftists, like 30% of the country believes in that stuff. This abolish ICE and free everything for everybody. And, oh, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is a rising star. Nobody believes in all that nonsense. You just have to believe women without any nobody believes that. Just a tiny fraction of people believe that. And I don't like to be mean, but it's not smart people. It is, in way greater numbers, people who don't actually know anything. So all this wedge driving that the Democrats are so desperately and transparently engaging in right now is not going to prove to be a winning strategy. They are chasing anybody at all moderate in their party away. All right? I will believe in a blue wave when I see it. No matter how many times the mainstream media tries to gaslight me and demand that I believe, I will not believe until I see it. The truth is, the Democrats are destroying whatever blue wave there might have been by acting insane while the whole country is watching. This strategy to smear and destroy Brett Kavanaugh is not an I am Spartacus moment. It is an Acme Rocket moment. Another of many Acme Rocket moments that the Democrats have had since President Trump was elected. So in that spirit, I have a great idea for President Trump's new campaign slogan. Since the Democrats' resistance tactics keep blowing up in their faces, how about this for a campaign slogan? So perfect, because they just can't catch Donald Trump. All right, I hope you enjoyed the show. Please subscribe on iTunes, leave me a review on iTunes. I would hugely appreciate it. Email me your thoughts at patriots@eddiezipper.com. That's patriots@eddiezipper.com. I do the show every Wednesday and Saturday, so keep downloading if you're enjoying it. That's it for me. I'm out of here.
I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
You just listened to Politics for Patriots with Eddie Zipper. Email the show at patriots@eddiezipper.com and please subscribe.